Now, investigations into political assassinations have shown that the parties most affected are the ANC, the IFP and the NFP. Now, over 52 councillors killed in KwaZulu-Natal, for example, 31 were ANC councillors and 14 IFP members. The NFP lost 4 councillors. Let's discuss the situation further now with crime expert Professor Jacob Mofokeng. He heads up the Tshwane University of Technology's Department of Safety and Security Management. Prof, good afternoon. Welcome to today, and thank you very much for your time. It's really a tragedy to see these and hear and read about these numbers, and the fact that even an interministerial task team set up under the Police Minister Bekiceli is still really battling today to get to the grips of these political killings and try and stop them, especially a year ahead of our general elections. One has to be very worried.
Good afternoon, Abraden and ANC viewers. Yes, we need to be very worried in terms of the emergence of escalating stats in terms of political assassinations. We know that normally, whether it's the national elections or provincial or local elections, we see this kind of phenomenon where those that are contesting, within the wards, whether it's the intra, political conflicts, we see people then, getting, threats in terms of they need to resign or otherwise then they get killed, despite, whether they've been allocated with protectors. And there's this phenomena whereby, there's a trend whereby now people will be, hired to kill those that could be perceived to be standing on the ways of others that are supposed to take those positions.
I mean, it seems like, as you said, there's a conflict or tensions within parties, the intra-conflict, but there's also between parties that is seemingly escalating. So you've got inter and intra violence currently happening. In your assessment, your research, I mean, what is driving that? Is it access to political power, therefore access to resources? Or is it due to unstable coalition governance that we're experiencing in parts of the country currently?
Well, it's a concoction of various, factors. Firstly, it could be, those that try to become whistleblowers in terms of the rot that is happening at a particular level. But also the decentralization of, procurement system, whereby, those that are supposed to be voted in power will have a massive, wielding powers in terms of resources, as well as access to state tenders. It is one of such, contributing factors where, people have to be eliminated. And these are some of, the boiling points that, the state has to look at, and considering that we had a Moerane Commission that detailed some of these problems and how within parties, these political parties need to be able to, sensitize their members in terms of tolerance, but we don't see such happening. But more it's about access to the resources, access to tenders, as well as patronage, those that, we see still happening where people have to be, put in particular positions. Then it's also, whereby the factions between in terms of then a clashing of ideologies. And for that, then we come across camps that now started to, to are taking.
I mean, we've seen 52 councillors killed in KZN since 2011, according to the latest stats. But more disturbing is that you also have officials, I think more than 100 officials working in these different municipalities, and as well all linked to political offices in those municipalities have also been killed. I mean, it's like the assassinations go beyond just those who hold a certain level of influence within a town council.
Yes, you are correct. Apart from, those that are holding political positions, within these regions, we come across those that are civil servants, that are holding certain portfolios, but also it will be around, access to money, issuing of tenders. But we also come across police officials, prosecutors, magistrates, that are also been killed, and then we see also the attack for such professionals, because of a linkage to a particular cases that they might be prosecuting or processing, as well as police officials that will be investigating such. And the challenges also with the killing of councillors, as we are aware now what is happening within KwaZulu-Natal. They are afraid now to attend council meetings. They will be afraid to attend, to check the sites whereby, there has to be service delivery. So this also affect, in terms of the services to the communities, but also those professionals that are being killed, in terms of police officials, prosecutors, magistrates. We are now talking about then, deprivation of knowledge as well as expertise to oversee certain cases. And this kind of phenomena, it creates, fear, so that it paralyzes the community not to come forward in terms of, coming with information. As much there will be, a call to say law enforcement, criminal justice system, needs to work with communities. But the phenomena at which we are seeing, it paralyzes, that particular call to say that violence, it seems like it is taking upper hand, and more so the stronghold being, the strong man being politics.
Yeah, the strong main being politics, and we don't know, about a year or so to go before elections, general elections next year. And as you've said, it seems like there's an escalation. And the impact as well is that service delivery that's needed by residents of these various municipalities doesn't really get delivered because of this violent infighting. Prof, if you were advising Bekele and other role players ahead of the elections next year, let's just look at KZN, which is seemingly a hotbed of political killings. There have been political killings reported in other parts of the country, but the stats from KZN are shocking. That is why Bekele was on the ground just a few days ago as part of the task team. What would you advise them to really try and focus on? As a crime expert, to say, if you are able to tackle these and this, maybe we can begin to rein this wave of political killings back.
Well, perhaps then we have to look at the manner in which we are allocating resources. If the South African Police Service is spreading itself thinly, trying to attend to all crimes, then eventually they will not be effective. It is firstly important that the categorization of police or political killing should also be part of the police statistics. And then also remember the state president mentioned that, the police are using state-of-the-art, data, apparatus to be able to check the hotspots. But there is an emerging voice to say that perhaps then we need to look at the harm certain crimes are committing, or the impact of certain crimes, such as, killings. So it means that it is very much important that we categorize and we prioritize crimes that are causing harm to the community, that are paralyzing. We are not saying certain crimes are not important, such as, burglary, and housebreakings, but we are saying that, where there are loss of lives, we are talking about rape and murder. So there has to be that kind of, prioritization, so that, the state can see it is very much important. Firstly, again, we need the political will. It is, we are so used to, the statements and, whenever there are these kinds of incident where either the minister will come and make statement, or the president, to say that KwaZulu-Natal is not a killing field. But what is it that we need to see? We need to see the implementation of Mairano Commission, whereby the recommendation, have to be implemented. We understand and we accept that there is a ministerial task team whereby the minister indicated that, over 300 cases, resulted in the arrest. But I think it is important that there has to be more resources, crime intelligence, the Hawks, as well as the NPA targeting assassinations, so that, those kingpins and as well as, commercial organized crimes, kingpins should be arrested.
Thank you very much, Prof, for your time this afternoon today. That's Jacob Mofokeng, Head of the Department of Safety and Security Management at the Tshwane University of Technology, just weighing in a little bit more as we unpack the significance of the ongoing political killings in KwaZulu-Natal. You're watching